Good morning. My name is Melinda Hughes, and I'm with a domestic NGO out of the United States. It's Nature Abounds. We actually formed in 2008, but I've been working on and creating citizen science programs since about 1999, so I've been doing this for a while. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this, but I'm going to talk to you all today about steps to incorporating citizen science volunteers into your program. Just some things to think about, and then of course in the discussion we'll get into a little bit more. There it is, okay. So basically I think we all know what citizen science is. I'd hope so at least, right? It's a term used for projects or ongoing program of scientific work in which individual volunteers or networks of volunteers, many who have no specific scientific training, perform or manage research-related tasks such as observation, measurement, and computation. Citizen science volunteers can add new depth to your project and take it to levels beyond what you ever expected. So involving citizen science volunteers in your project isn't hard, but you need to consider the 5 aspects below to have success for your program. 1 is planning, 2, recruiting, 3, training, 4, engaging, and 5, retaining. So some of the different questions that need to be asked in different aspects under planning, we have with what project could you use volunteers? How many volunteers could you use? Does age matter? What will the volunteers do? What process will they follow? How about quality control measures? How long do you need your volunteers for? And who will supervise and correspond with your volunteers? That's probably one of the biggest things. People want to know that they're doing things correctly, and they want to hear from you. Recruiting, also another big area. Is there a local volunteer center you could connect with? Like in the States, we have the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. We also have general volunteer centers or senior centers, or we have a lot of online tools as well. So can you use online avenues? As for example, in California, in the States, we have Volunteer Match. And it's a huge one. I think you can actually recruit on the international level for that as well. I think right now we have 3 main citizen science programs under me. 1 water monitoring, 1 is called Watch the Wild, which is a year-long. It's an ongoing program. The people monitor for wildlife, weather, seasonal changes, and the Ice Watch USA, which is also now in Germany and Canada, is also a winter program. But how about connecting with hiking and watershed groups? You can also piggyback on different things that are already going on. Citizen science activities often complement their activities, so why not piggyback on what they're already doing? Announce opportunity through media stories, press releases, etc. Training, another big area. And of course, this is also going to be dependent on where you're at, and laws and requirements are going to vary by location, not just country, but province or state. Do your volunteers need extensive training, or will an online course or short orientation work? Do they need training on data entry in addition to specifics of just the research side? Do they need extensive training, or will an online course or short orientation work? Do they need training on data? I think for some reason that's on there twice. All right, next aspect is engaging. What information needs to be included in your getting started instructions orientation? How often do you need your volunteers to report on their observation? Can they do it in person or virtually from their community? Can they serve alone, or does your project require more than 1 person? And do your volunteers need to take photos of what they observed? This is one of our biggest requirements because it helps on the quality control side. If they see a Carner blue butterfly, you want to know they see a Carner blue butterfly, not a monarch, or a viceroy instead of a monarch. It's always good to have photos to document that. Especially when you work with a lot of scientists, they want to know that kind of stuff. The last category is retaining. You want to evaluate your project regularly for successes and lessons learned and make changes as needed. Keep your project fresh. Communication, again, is key to retaining your volunteers. You want to recognize your volunteers' efforts by acknowledging their service. Even an occasional thank you email will go a long way. And just a few other tips. Let them know what happens to the data they collected. Example, our wildlife and weather data collected is used to analyze climate change, phenology, and other environmental indicators. When able, let them know that their data is useful by giving them details. Analyze that data. What does it actually mean? Remember that not all volunteers will be a match for your program, and your project will not always be a match for that volunteer. That's all right, and you should expect it. And basically, that's it for now until we get into our discussions. My contact information, I do have business cards back there as well if you want them. And that's it.